Well, the next piece of interesting medical junk I found in a tub by the roadside is this ultrasound machine, and here's the transducer probe thing. It's been cut off, made by 3M, and it seems to be fully sealed, so I won't try and open it. This plug's here, and it looks like there's two of them, but I've only got one. A lot of pins there, and it doesn't look like that many wires in the cable. A bit hard to tell. I can see a few fine ones. There might be a dozen. Doesn't look like that many of those. I'm not sure what's going on there. And this knob is just for compressing the pins and locking the plug. So yeah, this is going to be pretty cursory examination because I don't know anything about this stuff. So we're just going to see what's inside it. It was sitting in 2 or 3 inches of water in the tub, so it's definitely water damaged inside. And I expect a fair bit of it will be to do with the CRT, unless it's an LCD, and a bit of computer stuff, or a fair bit of computer stuff actually, and a nice trackball. I wonder if that's usable. Anyway, I'll open it up and see what we can find. Sunlight through the window is a bit of a problem, but yeah, 6 screws here, and cut that warning label, and the top could lift off. And inside we can see, yes, it is a CRT. Yeah, I imagine it's just black and white. This, just by the way, this probe transducer thingy says on it 3.5 megahertz. I would have thought ultrasonics was like tens of kilohertz, but I guess you need that sort of frequency to get the resolution to be able to see detail of unborn bub. And it's not clear, there's no other screws on the outside, so I'm not sure what holds all this in, or if it's even worth opening any further. What's in there? We've got CRT, of course, and electronics down the bottom to drive that. EMI filter, more filtering, a ferrite core there. There's our high voltage supply. In that down there. Looks like a power supply and or electronics inside a cage there. Might try and get that off. I'll bugger eyes around a little bit more, see if I can get any more out of that. Right, this appears to be the brains box, and there's the brains. Pretty typical looking stuff in modern electronics, FPGAs, etc. Battery backed up real-time clock, I think. Bunch of relays, connectors to the outside world. MT8816AP. So this is RAM down here. 07, I think it's 2007 stuff. A bit more on the other side. Yeah. So, delving a bit deeper. That might be a nice power supply module in there if it hasn't been ruined by the water. I'll try and get to him. Power supply comes out pretty easily. I can't see any specs on the outside of what voltages and currents it does, but at least from this point it doesn't look too water damaged, but yet to be seen inside. See a bit of rust there. But one of the few parts in here that might be usable and unwater damaged. I wrecked this EMI filter. I thought those wires were spade lugs, and I pulled them off and ripped out one of the terminals there. So maybe that can be salvaged, maybe not. I might have just stuffed it up for no good reason. Bugger. And what's left just looks like CRT stuff. High voltage supply. Don't know what to do with that. Junk it, I guess. What use is it? Fan might be okay if it's not wrecked by water. Ferrite core, that'll be good. But yeah, not much else. Bugger about that. I'm really annoyed. Oh well. Have a look inside this. Just see what I can tell what sort of power supply this is. And there's the power supply again. No specs inside. Maybe that down there can be a clue if I look it up. It looks to be nicely made. Nichicon capacitors everywhere. Doesn't appear to have any water damage, even though this end of it would have been underwater. Yeah, that might be useful in the future. Damned annoyed about wrecking that EMI filter. I didn't show this board very well before, so let's have another look at it. Big connectors for this thing going to the Transducer Probe, battery backed up real-time clock, FPGA, I'm presuming RAM, they are D to A and A to Ds. This is a MCU, some MOSFETs, probably for driving the probe I imagine, power supply, relays, more MOSFETs on the back, more RAM perhaps, don't know what that is. Yeah, just your typical stuff you see everywhere these days when you pull stuff apart. High density chips and no idea what the hell's going on in any detail. Continuing, there's a keyboard which is a trackball that might come away as a separate unit, could be adaptable to something else, some other project. Sort of a graphic equalizer there, which is also separate on a little board. Even these cute little keypad, that might be usable too. Either cut that board or remove the key switches and use them in and make a new PCB for some specialised project, who knows. Anyway, that's pretty good. And yeah, the bulk of this thing was really, as I suspected, was the CRT. There's the board that drives it, and again the conformal coating seems to have protected it from any water damage, unless this copped it. It's just a flyback transformer that should be sealed and probably didn't get damaged. So this may be usable as a monitor, as a video monitor for say an old retro computing PC project. I've seen this people are trying to sell these tubes on eBay for $250 or more. At least one of them seems to have sold 13 of them, so there might be a bit of a market for that. Or try and put all this back together into a little monitor. So that wasn't that interesting, was it? Really, the only ultrasoundy bit of this project, of this device, was the transducer probe, which we can't open because it's all sealed up. And slightly ultrasoundy is the control board. Did I mention some of this stuff was video? I think I did. Video output, which obviously is for driving this guy. So there you go. Wasn't that interesting? The next items of interesting junk I have in mind, I think will be more interesting than this thing was, but I did this just for completeness. I said I would, so I had to. Alright, hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to smash that like button before you watch the video, and I'll catch you later.